Hello, this is Eye on Africa. I'm Yenna Lee, and these are your headlines on the continent tonight. Ethnic clashes leave at least 17 people dead in Sudan's Darfur region. An aid group blames Arab militias known as Janjaweed for the attack. The cost of living for Ghanaians is at its highest in almost 6 years. The increasing price of basic goods such as water and oil leave families and businesses struggling. And Congolese authorities vow to clamp down on shoddy construction after a tragic incident in Kinshasa. Some observers blame corruption and poor urban planning. First, Sudanese officials have confirmed that at least 17 civilians were killed in Darfur in renewed ethnic clashes. 4 villages were burnt down and dozens of people were injured. Violence in the area has increased since the military coup in October. Earlier this week, a similar attack saw 16 people lose their lives. Our regional correspondent Caroline Kimeo tells us more.
The attacks took place in the Jebel Mountains area and were carried out by local Arab militia looking to control resources, including livestock, land and water. We know from government sources that over 17 people were killed during the attacks, and according to our source on the ground, the death toll may well be up to 22. Now, over the last week alone, 16 people have lost their lives in similar but separate attacks that have become increasingly common since the October 25th military coup. It's led to a deterioration of the security situation in Darfur and the country more broadly. Now, ethnic clashes are not uncommon in Darfur, which suffered a 2003 civil war after rebels from the region's non-Arab population accused the Arab-dominated al-Bashir government of oppressing their community. Now, the government responded by deploying the Arab militia called the Janjaweed to quell the violence, leading to 300,000 people losing their lives and 2.7 million getting displaced. Now, activists are calling for the government to take action, saying that its failure to do so is the reason that such attacks continue.
To Ghana next, where consumer price inflation is accelerating. Housing, transport and food industries are all seeing sharp price hikes. In February, Ghana registered the highest inflation rate in almost 6 years. The situation is affecting people and businesses alike. This next report takes us to a bakery in Accra that's feeling the pinch.
Flour, water and salt first, then margarine. The basic ingredients necessary to make bread and products whose price has soared in recent months in Ghana, where inflation hit its highest figure in 6 years.
All things that we need to produce bread have been increased, some on monthly or weekly basis, and whenever you are trying to stand, then an increment will come, then you need to go back again.
This baker opened his business 25 years ago with a childhood friend, seen here distributing loaves across Accra. Inflation, due in part to COVID-related supply disruptions, has brought them to the brink of collapse. Increasing the price of bread is banned in Ghana, and clients say they won't buy their bread if they reduce its size. The two friends are running out of options.
I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a born and bred Ghanaian. I've never traveled anywhere before. This is my country. And if I cannot make it in my own country, then where am I going to make it?
25 years of waking up at 3 a.m. and working hard. The bakery hasn't been an easy way to make a living, but it was their dream, which they kept afloat for so long, and which soon could collapse.
Time now for a look at other stories across the continent tonight. Ethiopia's Human Rights Commission has found evidence of what could be war crimes and crimes against humanity in and around Tigray and is now calling for a criminal investigation. Their report found that at least 749 civilians were killed in the north of the country since last July. Aside from war casualties, the commission says both federal forces and Tigrayan rebels took part in unlawful extrajudicial killings. Zambia's former president, Rupia Bwezani Banda, has died at the age of 85. He was the country's fourth president from 2008 to 2011. His tenure was marked by both economic growth and allegations of corruption. In 2013, the parliament stripped him of his immunity. He was accused of abuse and misappropriating more than $11 million. He was never convicted. Kenyan authorities have scrapped the last remaining COVID restrictions. Masks are no longer required in public. Those who test positive don't have to stay in quarantine. Fully jabbed sports fans and worshippers can return to stadiums, churches and mosques. Almost 1/3 of Kenyan adults have now been vaccinated, and there have been more than 320,000 recorded cases of the disease. Let's head to the Democratic Republic of Congo now, where authorities have vowed to crack down on illegal buildings across the country. It comes in the wake of a tragic accident in early February when a high-voltage electric cable fell on a market just below, killing more than 20 people on the spot. Some experts believe that shoddy construction is mainly due to corruption and poor urban planning. Clément Bonnereau and Juliette Dubois have this report.
Every time Joël Kiana drives around Kinshasa, he's struck by the same thing. Countless buildings have been built in violation of urban planning regulations. This church, for example, has gone up just below a high-voltage power line.
In DR Congo, it's illegal to build anything under a high-voltage power line. The law specifies a minimum safety distance of at least 50 meters.
According to local authorities, 40% of buildings in Kinshasa are illegal, which means that they were built without formal state approval. In the neighbouring district of Yolo, residents live just a few metres from a river. Heavy rains cause severe flooding several times per year.
When it rains, the water goes up to this level.
José bought this plot of land more than 10 years ago. He says he wasn't aware of the rules when he built his house.
I went to see the chief of the neighbourhoods, and when I bought the plot, I was given a piece of paper, a title deed, but I didn't go anywhere else. I didn't realise I needed a building permit.
Joël Kiana is a town planner. He believes authorities bear their share of responsibility for unregulated construction. He says they often allow the sale of land unsuitable for building.
Plots of land are being sold in areas where it's illegal to build, and this is where the problem begins. Authorities are breaking the law because all these documents are granted on behalf of the state.
The Congolese government, meanwhile, has promised to tighten oversight of its employees.
We have many legal tools at our disposal, including setting up a one-stop shop for building permits. That way, there won't be any confusion for those who want to build a house. They'll have a single door to knock on.
Authorities say they'll also impose tougher penalties on citizens who build without a permit and systematically demolish unsafe structures.
And finally, we head to Sudan to meet the country's first women's national football team. The players are fighting against all odds, despite prejudice and a coup d'etat. They're determined to play the beautiful game. Indeed, just a few years ago, their existence seemed inconceivable due to the hardline Islamist policies of former dictator Omar al-Bashir.
Football in the stadium in Khartoum is a victory for these women. They were banned from playing under the rule of Sudanese dictator Omar al-Bashir. Just months after he was toppled in 2019, the country launched its first women's football tournament. But training and playing matches have become tricky since the military coup in October last year.
The security situation has seriously affected us. Our match against Algeria was cancelled because of it. Even during this last period, we couldn't prepare properly, and the Football Association is new. We had 1 or 2 days of training cancelled due to the protests and the insecurity.
The young team is still growing and has yet to taste victory. A recent match against South Sudan ended with a brutal 6-0 defeat.
We only practiced for a week, so we weren't fit enough to perform well. Thank God our technical team did not fail us. They tried to help us get as fit as possible during that short time. We thank our fans for supporting us and standing by us, even when we lose.
The supporters around the pitch show attitudes here are changing towards women's football. The team now hopes that some good results will win over the minds even more.
That's it from the Iron Africa team. Thank you for watching.